Brothers and sisters, my name is Philip Diaz. With me, as always, are the Knights of the Working Class. To my left, the Robin to my Batman, Dylan Alstein. To him, the tallest woman who's never touched a basketball, Shamika Stanley, fine like a mug. To her, the blackest man from Atlanta, that pale, the sexiest Brandon Whaley, the sexiest renegade alien I've ever seen in my life. People will get that clip in time. Listen, we're going to cut right to it. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what I think is arguably the greatest game of its generation.
Arguably.
All right. We are shooting this in what day?
Oh man, that doesn't matter.
You
got me. Today is the 1st of May.
Today is the 1st of May, and the reason why I ask you to mention that is because we are already well into the next gen console war. I think a couple of you guys are well ahead of us. Some of us are still squeezing the juices out of. See, like, to me that's current gen, but I guess it's X gen. It's the old shit.
I still think that we're in, the transition period. And I think that could be agreed upon. I think that we're still in a bit of a transition.
There's not enough content.
Agreed. Yeah, there really isn't.
That is a valid fucking point.
You know when it's time is when they stop making games for the last gen. Is when they stop making games.
Are we there yet?
I don't think we are just yet. No. I don't think we're there just yet.
We're in that weird awkward phase.
We're very close. We are very close.
Weird awkward phase where they're like, "Hey, you can have this game on for like $30.
It's gonna be nowhere near as good."
Yeah. And then we get this one. It's in 4K and it's got but it's the same fucking game and it's what I mean. So I hate that phase because I feel like if you're a part of the new school, the new stuff that's coming out, I feel like you're getting cheated because anytime you have to design a game for both consoles, the old and the new, you're not really giving it your all.
No. Yeah, and either console.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? So and there's always like budgetary concerns and they're trying to rush it out. But the reason why I bring that point up is because I want to talk about The Last of Us. I think anyone here at this table can make an argument that is arguably the finest piece of interaction fiction to come out in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Even the storyline.
Especially the storyline.
Especially.
Okay, here's my question. I'm going to start off with Shamika. Is it a zombie game? Is it a zombie game? Because it doesn't feel like it's not. But it is. It's not Resident Evil.
It's a survival game.
But it is.
Yeah. This game's gonna carry a lot of hats. Shim, your thoughts?
It kind of reminds me of The Walking Dead.
It's so fucking good.
Which is an awesome show, right?
Right. Listen, that's a whole other episode.
Right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. That's a whole nother 5 episodes at least.
But obviously, it takes some notes from that.
From that, definitely. And I thought it was a well-made game. The gameplay was good. The storyline was awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the first 5 minutes.
I've got all these notes, and you're just checking them. Oh my god!
I cried over
so you cried in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did too, and I don't want to admit that on film. I was like a week.
Like you've just done.
Like you just did.
I was like crying. I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't want anybody coming home to see this happening. Like I'm not a man anymore. But yes, like the death of Joel's daughter was very saddening.
4 minutes ago, I just said spoilers. If anyone didn't get that,
spoilers.
Yeah.
That's all.
No.
Game now, then it's
I feel like
I'm gonna talk about spoilers.
I feel like I had to address it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the truth, and listen, we just dated this episode.
Right.
Thanks to this young man next to me. If you have not played The Last of Us by now,
you're not a gamer by any means.
You're not a gamer.
You shouldn't be. You should not be watching this video if you have not played.
But if you are,
you already watched it, so you could play it.
And
it was literally the first game that I've been lost in since maybe Zelda.
Skyrim.
As bad as that sounds.
Skyrim. And that's my other.
I love Skyrim.
I got lost in Zelda, and like it's been a long time since I've been lost. But I was literally lost in this game, and I was like, I need to know what happens next.
Yeah, mm-hmm. You know what it was
I couldn't put it down. I couldn't put it down.
When you turn on
I beat it fast.
I beat it fast too.
And that's
I remember when I Phil made me borrow the game. He's like, "Give it to me back already."
That's
Yeah.
and then that's
It was that good.
Phil was like, "You know the ending already," and I was like, "Yeah, I do." I was like, "No, fuck you." That's what I said.
the thing.
Fuck you, Phil.
The thing about The Last of Us and the thing about Zelda and games like that, what sticks them out from all the other games is when you turn that console on, you turn into Link. When you turn that console
Yes,
on, you
yes.
turn into Joel.
That's
You're
true.
not you anymore.
That's
you know,
true.
and that's what
You had a
separates those.
mission, and you had to accomplish it, and that was the bottom line of what was going on. But
Exactly.
Like I don't know, man. Like it for me was the first game where I actually felt lost in what was going on, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next.
Yeah.
No matter what happened, I had to know the conclusion.
I think this is one of the few, like when you talk about video games and you're like, oh my god, they're so pretty, they're so beautiful.
This one's up there.
Excuse me.
If not at the
video
top.
video games are the. I mean, I could be wrong about this, and I think there may be room for it, but I'm gonna stand by this. Video games are the only time that you could look at a deserted wasteland and be like, "Wow, this is beautiful." Like, you know what I mean? If I looked out my window and saw that shit, I'd be like, "I need my Bible." Like, I couldn't. Like, I'm not. But when you got to experience this world, it was beautiful. The music is what I want to talk about. Do you guys remember
soundtrack?
The soundtrack, which was an
man.
album you can buy. I didn't know that.
You actually
In
can,
research for this piece, basically, it's that like, remember that guitar? It was that 6-string. And it was just, and like it played that same like 4 or 5 notes throughout the whole thing. I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it so much that I wanted to tell you guys a fact. Are you guys familiar with the BBC documentary Planet Earth?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
we may have seen
It's
it's
beautiful.
stunning.
Gorgeous.
It's
Awesome.
beautiful.
It is the reason.
It makes me want to live on Earth.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
And listen,
I don't live there now, but
as
I watched that. I was like, I want to live
listen,
there.
as a guy who spends a lot of time on Earth, I don't often say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to live there.
Right.
It looks
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, but it's always like Tahiti, and it's like, you know what I mean? They're like Indonesia, but only that 1 week in August.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but the rest of so they're like, they never do Planet Earth, Detroit, Michigan.
No.
Like they
I
never
lived
do that
there.
episode.
They would
Yeah,
never do that.
Exactly.
Trust me. I can tell you all about
But the
Detroit.
reason why I bring up Planet Earth BBC, okay, do you remember the overall story of the zombie thing?
Yeah.
It's inspired. I don't know if you guys. This
I
is
know
like,
yeah, yeah.
This is inspired by the game
Fungus.
Fungus. It was-
Fungus.
yes.
It was inspired by cordyceps.
Cordyceps. Couldn't read it because I've been drinking.
And then the
But that's why Batman has a Robin. Cordyceps are a fungus that actually exist in the real world.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So an ant goes traveling around doing what ants do. I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
They're amazing builders.
We
they're
all
strong.
know.
They're pretty
yes.
strong.
They're strong as hell.
Pretty strong.
Okay, ladies and
They
gentlemen.
can lift a car, but they can't.
Right?
Like, fuck you, Phil. I can lift a car.
Apparently, the round is pro ant. So
Yes.
sweet. We're making
Dude,
T-shirts.
all my band members are
but,
ants. I'm just saying.
But
we'll be
fungus.
we'll be hinting on Ant-Man later.
Shortly,
Later,
yeah.
shortly, yeah.
That's a couple hours away.
It's coming up.
Okay, so there's an actual fungus that will go into ants.
Yep.
And ants will just it takes control of them.
Yeah, they lose the power of their mind.
Yeah, they
completely.
They crawl up to the highest point. A spike comes, not unlike the Last of Us. A spike comes out of their head, and it's pfft, and just pollen resonates, and then more, and that's how it. Okay.
Yeah.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
a Michael Bay film. Like that's something that actually happens.
Right.
Yeah.
How-
you
like-
would think that.
All right. The guy who knows a little bit about science in me is like, well, could that jump species? That's a phrase that I've heard in a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I think so.
It makes absolute sense.
I don't
All
see
right.
why it would not.
Okay, that right there is why I love The Last of Us.
Yep.
Because you took
Okay.
a kernel of truth,
Yeah.
and you spun a brilliant piece of fiction.
Right.
Okay, does anyone have something that like a unique experience? Something that like because there was a lot of exploration in that game.
Yeah.
And so if you
I do. I actually do.
banged out the campaign, 5-6 hours. But there was a lot of exploring. You have like a thing that you lay it on
I
me.
just bang it out.
Oh, did you? Listen.
I just bang it out and I'm like, I'm done.
Hashtag just like prom.
Hashtag
Just like prom.
prom.
Hashtag prom.
Can I get that?
Yeah, I just bang it out and I'm done. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
No. That's going to be one of our things.
Yeah. T-shirts soon.
T-shirts.
Make
Make it a no.
Yeah.
Make it a no.
Yeah.
Just like prom. But
Do I get it? No, maybe.
just like prom. There he goes, like prom.
That's true.
Listen, I don't know about you.
I don't know where she's been. You know.
I don't know about your
maybe.
prom night, but mine was like, I don't know. Am I gonna?
Yeah.
I know I'm down.
Well, my prom
I knew
night
I was gonna.
with my boyfriend. So
So you definitely was.
Yeah, I knew.
I know. He was definitely like, yeah, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
before prom was over.
You don't have to tell us.
He's wearing a T-shirt that says maybe.
He's like.
No,
just,
he's wearing a t-shirt saying definitely. Because we were.
Hashtag definitely.
your favorite part of The Last of Us. Your favorite part. Of the
My
Last of Us.
favorite part was the giraffe scene. I don't know. Like,
Oh, no.
Goodness gracious me, oh my.
That was awesome.
It was
You're
amazing.
absolutely right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. He's absolutely right.
You went through atrocities,
Yes.
and all of a sudden, like, you're in this land where giraffes are walking by, and it was like beautiful.
It
You're like,
was.
Brilliant.
You
It was
felt-
brilliant.
You felt like humble.
Slow it down.
You felt like
Express that scene. Remember how she.
It's a slow scene too.
it is a
because
very
they
slow
want you to
scene.
catch
It's a
all of
very
it.
slow scene.
Tell us
Like,
how you felt.
like I felt in a
Shamika,
sense
I got
where,
hard when you said that.
That's what I wanted you to do.
You weren't the only one.
I literally
Brandon, you're on the
like
floor.
I felt cumbersome. And that was the best way to describe it. I was like, wow, I went through atrocities left and right. And now I have giraffes walking by slowly, and like
I don't
tongues
even
are coming
remember.
out.
Was there music?
No, it was
or
like,
was
it was
it?
no. It was no. I don't think there was.
wasn't.
music.
I don't know.
I don't remember being music either.
I don't think there was music. It was just it was very cumbersome, and there was
I can't-
giraffes walking by.
I mean,
like their tongues are coming out, and it's like it's just you felt surreal
Sweet.
in with what was going on, and like
it was
that to me
beautiful.
was like I'm gonna survive this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
make this, and if I don't, I'm going to make sure that I survive everything that's happening.
Right.
I have giraffes walking by.
Yeah.
It was an.
Do
that was
you
the most
remember?
beautiful scene.
Do you remember what happened before that? The last scene before that
I mean,
was.
vaguely, yeah.
Well, no. The reason why I bring it up is because I think
it was like a bunch of like
No.
creatures and, like,
It was
words or something.
the last scene just before that. There was a time lapse.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was seasonal. But the last scene before that, and I think that's why it makes the giraffe scene so powerful, is that just before that was the scene where she got like they don't say it, but they allude to the fact that she almost got sexually assaulted. It was the darkest.
Yeah, she
I
did,
almost said
actually.
it was the darkest part of the
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
No.
But it's the darkest
That's
part of
how you- that's
the
how you
game.
feel.
That's
Close.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, oh,
it was so
she
good.
almost got raped.
It was
but
so good,
hey,
yeah.
Here's giraffes.
They don't, it was
Giraffes fixes
And it made
everything.
it right. They calmed
but
down.
but it
That's
was it was like a
Wow, you
visual
got raped. You almost
value.
got raped, and now we've got giraffes. We're
right.
fine.
They did some study.
right.
Somewhere.
They started crazy. Okay, my One Piece. I don't know if you guys have one. I don't. Okay, do you remember? It's when they're on the. It's towards the end. There's like a beach scene where they're kind of on the shore, and if you pick up all the side missions, did anyone like read all the extra stories? I did.
Of the people?
Well, if you went through the game, you'd find like
letters and things like that.
yes,
Journals,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
There was a piece about, and I'm sure. Listen, I'm gonna get the details wrong here.
Yeah.
But the short of it was that there was a man who was a fisherman. And you piece these together by looking through the environment,
Right.
And just finding these notes. This was dope. There was a fisherman, and he was off. So he didn't. This whole zombie thing went down, and he was fishing, so he was away from it. But he heard about it on the radio, and then eventually he comes to shore. There's like a family. They bond. Because he's kind of like a tough guy.
Right.
He secures a location for them in the subway, and then if you keep going, you keep digging, you find out that it does not end well. There you go.
Right,
Which
yeah.
is sad. But like I remember playing that part, and I was like, if you had walked into my room while I was playing the game, I was just reading. I was just staring at this, but it was such an amazing story, and
Right.
it was so good. I was like, that's a video game right there. I would watch that movie.
Yeah. It was not a happy
and it-
game by any means.
No, it was not.
It wasn't.
Shim, any particular points that jump out? D.
No, I mean the whole game was just.
Whole game was over.
Whole game
Yeah,
was
listen,
very
and
good.
you know this is why this is something I wanted to lead in, because I remember having this conversation specifically with you, Shem, and it was just like we had a joy about this game. Like this game was so good, and like I feel like you and I had a race. Like you would play a
totally did.
yeah, like we would, because it just enthralled us. It was so good.
Yeah.
I think we've pretty much beat this to a dead horse, except for this one thing that I have been saving for all of you right now.
The sequel?
No sequel. This is a theater.
no,
this
no.
is a.
Talk
This
about
is,
the sequel.
no.
Is there a sequel?
There is
a
no.
sequel.
No, they have not announced the sequel.
No, but
officially.
there is going to be.
Okay,
We
this
know
is
that.
speculation. So let's have that. Let's throw that out to the crowd.
Yeah,
Is there? Do you think there's going to be a sequel?
absolutely.
That game.
Absolutely.
All right.
It was too much of a good game.
Fun fact time. You ready?
Okay.
Okay.
The okay wait okay, the game came out in 2013.
Yes.
In 3 weeks, that game 3 weeks.
2 years
That
old.
game sold $3.4 million. I'm sorry, that's I completely ruined that.
Times
It's
like
300. No, they made three. No, it's 3.4 million units.
Oh, you know.
At six
times
at,
64.99.
at sex,
whatever.
yeah, times what, $50 a
That's
pop.
also-
So they,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of,
Yeah,
okay.
a lot of
Fucking
damn money.
Okay, all right. A testament to how good that game was. When the PS4 announced the high definition, 1.5 million copies in one day,
Yeah.
which tells me two things: A, that game is fucking dope, and B, there's still nothing worth really playing on the
No,
PS4.
there's not.
Not yet. Listen, I'll play Bloodborne. I'll play a bunch of other shit. I'm in.
Even though I beat the game in such a short time, like it felt like it was so longer. Like
Yeah.
it was much longer than
You
that.
were into the story.
Yes,
Yes.
And but that's the point of the games. Like you don't want to play a game you can play for 2 hours and beat it.
Right.
Like you don't want to do that. That's
No.
not the point of buying a $60 game.
It's funny. It's funny you should say that because apparently right now I just read this article on IGN. There's a movement that we're all getting a little bit older and we don't have time for things anymore. So that there should be room for like a 5-hour, a 6-hour game, and like I'm down to play an art like a AAA game title for 2-3 hours, but don't charge me $60.
No, absolutely not.
Like I can't. Like you
No.
gotta. But my time is valuable.
But the thing about
I
That's-
actually support their value on the price. I actually do. I believe in $60 per game. I do believe
For a
in that.
2-hour game.
No, not a 2 hour
Okay,
game.
that's my point.
Okay. Last of Us was not a 2-hour game.
No.
of
That's
course
not the
not.
argument I'm
Of course
making.
not.
No. I'm leading
But
into the future.
I do agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
like you should not have to pay $60 for a game that you can play in 2 hours.
No.
Like I can work.
So
this shit.
time is up. Like
Time is money.
Yeah,
Of
like
course.
oh God, yeah.
If I feel like, even if I say to myself,
I think we want 10 to 12 hours, no
But
matter
you-
what.
but
We
you-
want that, no
but
matter what.
You gotta think to yourself, right? There are some people that are hard gamers that
Yeah.
sit home and don't
I'd
do
say-
shit
okay.
but play games.
would you consider
for
yourself?
hours and like
Would you consider yourself a hardcore gamer?
no.
No.
I'm not a hardcore.
I consider you a hardcore gamer because you're the only girl I know of. Like, if I played a game, she'd be like, "I've also played that." I'm like, "How much hardcore do you need?"
But
No,
to
but
me-
I'm just yeah, but
to
I hear
me,
you.
a hardcore gamer is someone that dedicate their life to it. Like I don't
Alright.
dedicate my life.
They don't
to
watch TV.
Like,
They don't go to
like,
movies.
I play.
You see Avengers? I was like, you see Avengers the app?
right?
I'm all about that shit. I'm like, nigga, we going to the movies. You know, all right. So I see what you're saying.
okay.
Well, then in that case, I'm not a hardcore gamer either.
No,
but I'm very
and
passionate.
I'm not even a hardcore gamer.
Not by
That's
that.
the
Not
case.
by that saying. Okay.
No.
So this is how we'll wrap it up, and here's where I'm gonna lead, as I say, and one more time.
And
Brandon, I don't think has had the pleasure of playing Skyrim,
I have not.
but Shamika has. Dylan
I
has.
I haven't played Skyrim.
All right,
no.
Awesome.
focus. That's not the point.
I've heard it's amazing.
It's very cool. But what I'm talking about are decision-based games. You know, at the game where like you choose your own destiny.
Yeah, morale.
Morale. Morale's your Mass Effect, your
Mass
your
Effect.
Skyrim,
Your Mass Effect.
your Mass Effect.
Your Mass Effect.
At the end of Last of Us,
Yes.
I feel like there was a moment where you could have had the choice.
I agree.
Yeah.
And by that I mean you could have let them do the procedure
or not.
or you could have.
So it's kind of like the books Choose Your Own Adventure.
Okay, let's
Well, no,
talk
a
about
lot
It is.
Did you-
It's
okay.
Like the book,
who
Choose
did
Your
the
Own Adventure.
procedure?
No,
That's what it
there
is.
was no choice in the game.
That's
There was
true.
no choice in the game. What I'm asking is, do you think the publisher made the right choice in telling a story, or would you have wanted the choice? That's the question I'm posing to you. Would you have liked it at the very end? You could have done this or done that, like BioShock.
I wouldn't.
So
Because
you
it was such,
Far Cry was
it was
like that
a
as
good
well.
game. I didn't
Far
want-
exactly.
Far Cry 3
Far
was
Cry.
like that.
But I didn't want to make a choice of a game that
You
was
wanted-
such a good game that they could have made a sequel for.
Yeah.
If I would have made a
You
choice,
wanted to hear that story.
to me, in a sense, if I made a choice, it would be the ending of the choice of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it would be the ending. It should
Yeah.
not be a sequel.
So you were okay,
It depending on what ending they gave you.
Let me ask you this: were you okay with the ending?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you
Is
like
that-
okay?
is
So
that
we're.
confident, yeah. Or
Yeah, that was the listen.
I'm
That's
saying, like,
that was the quietest fucking I've heard all night.
But
Yeah.
the reason
You're
why I
very
said yeah,
boisterous.
because I want them to make another sequel. I don't
Okay.
want it to be a finale that this
Okay.
is what I want the ending to be.
Brandon,
It was such a good game.
It was yeah. It's emotional. I love that game. I honestly I
I
kind
love
of
it. Like I
kinda
kinda
wanna-
want to. We'll do another sequel.
they will. That game made so much fucking money. There's no way Naughty Dog is not going to make a sequel.
Right.
They're gonna do Drake's fourth.
It would be stupid not
They're
to.
yeah. They're doing the what is it? Uncharted 4.
Yes.
Uncharted
and
is awesome.
Uncharted,
every,
yes.
Every game that they
incredible.
pulled,
Yeah.
It's
they
incredible.
put
Yeah.
out for that was awesome.
Uncharted 4 is going to be
Every
amazing,
single.
and then after that, I don't see how they don't make another.
Phil, what
Last
was
of
the
Us.
game that me and you were talking about that was supposed to premiere out? I was like,
There's a
Tom Clancy.
I've got so much intel on
I
that.
know, which we
Yeah, we may get into that next if time runs long.
The Order.
Ladies and gentlemen, the overall synopsis of this is that if you haven't played The Last of Us and you own a PlayStation, get the fuck on it.
Get it, get it.
And I say,
get it,
I say
get
that
it.
with love. We're gonna talk about the next topic soon. This is the round.